The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guest do not reflect those of the host, the show, the management, and the network.
Mabuhay! You're in the right channel, TLC. And of course, this is Lee on Motivationalee. I would like to ask you, do you still have those strong visions in life? And what are those? And how old are you, by the way? Do you still dream of going to a different country just to study, perhaps? Live, work, or just visit? It doesn't really matter. Let's make things happen because you're in the right channel. Obviously, it is great to migrate with Lee every Friday, 7 p.m. AEST Melbourne time. And of course, it's 5 p.m. in the Philippines. Wherever you are, please adjust. So catch me. Don't forget every Friday, the different visas and testimonies as well when it comes to migration. So see you then. Let's talk. Bye. Hello, everyone. Good evening once again. Good morning and good afternoon. Any one of you who are watching right now all over the world, thank you so much for dropping by and keeping us company. Welcome back to our TLC. It's great to migrate only here with Lee. And as I've mentioned, I think a few days ago, one opportunity when used wisely can change your life dramatically. So, of course, it's great to migrate only here with me, Lee. And it's our episode 5, season 1. And for today, our topic is all about parent visa. Who have missed all our family, wherever you came from. I'm sure even though you are working so hard from a different country, you've migrated, your loving family, especially your parents as well. So for today, it's an opportunity for us to discuss this very important topic so we can be reunited with our family as well. And one person who's very much well versed into this is none other than Niti Hara. Of course, 3 big claps. Welcome back, Niti. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Lee. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And you look fabulous. It seems like something's, you had such a great week. I believe so. So tell us about your week. How was your week? Is there any something good news that you can share with us before we can start the ball rolling?
Week was really, really busy, especially, and it was all about parents, honestly. We were bombarded since Scott Morrison, the PM, Prime Minister of Australia, announced that parents are immediate family members and they can come in. We'll talk about more about it, but what that meant for us, for our organization, was lots and lots of application. So really overwhelming week. But the good news is that on Friday, which is today, just before closing, we got permanent resident granted for some of our clients.
Wow!
So on a very good note, we ended the week. So yes.
Wow. I am gobsmacked at the moment, like you've been pretty busy and working so hard every day. I don't know if you still have time to take a day off, but you know what? You deserve so much all of these blessings that's coming into you. You are such a, beautiful woman inside and out, and you've been always willing to help other people from different parts of the world. So well done, Niti, for this good news. And this week is a long weekend for us, right? For our Melbourne Cup, am I right?
Yes.
So you deserved 3 glasses of wine, perhaps, and put your headdress on and enjoy the week because you have created a huge impact, not just to me, not just to our televiewers right now all over the world, but also to all our applicants who've been waiting for for a good news, and here you are. It's just boom. That's it. Congratulations once again, Niti.
Thank
Great.
you.
Whew. Now, Niti, as we continue to increase our adrenaline right now, because there's so many things that had happened, it's beautiful things more than the ups and downs. It's such beautiful things that had happened this week and the previous week, and there's so many good news as well from the government. And one of those is this parent visa. And before I ask you about that, a lot of people are asking, migrating to Australia or any any parts of the world, any countries. It's so exciting, isn't it? A lot of people wants to do a skilled migration, being a skilled migrant, working, sponsored, being a student, or
There are so
spouse.
many opportunities for
Visa.
young people.
That's
Yeah.
right. But then what happens is, Niti, I don't know if you'll agree with me, the family where they come from, especially the parents, are being apart from them, right? And especially if they're the only family you've got, like if they're an only child, or even if they have got siblings as well, it's so different, Niti, to be apart from your moms and dads, right? So, Niti,
Absolutely.
let's I really hope that everyone who are watching right now, wherever you are right now, thank you so much once again. I hope you can get lots of nuggets, golden nuggets this time, how you can reunite with your parents. So with Niti, she's very well versed with this. So Niti, let's talk about parent visa. What do you think about this? How can the family or the children can be reunited with their grandparent, I mean grandchildren can be reunited with their parents?
Absolutely.
Take it
Yes.
away.
So the parents' visa, as the name suggests, all about how to bring our loved parents and be reunited with them in Australia. There are lots and lots of options available. Um, but I'd like to, before I go into that, I'd like to share the good news because according to immigration law, immediate family members, the definition of immediate family members just included spouse or nearbys, but not the parents. The good news, and because of this, for last 2 years, since because of travel restrictions, we and many of us Australian citizens or permanent residents has not been able to travel out and to reunite with their parents or family, and neither they were allowed or their parents were allowed to come into the country. So I think the most important, although it's not to do with the parent visa, but the most important is that the Prime Minister of Australia has acknowledged that parents are immediate family when it comes for
True.
traveling or visiting their Australian citizens and PRs. So that's a big news. And people
Yes,
are taking the advantage of it. And why not? Because they haven't seen their parents for the last 2 years. They're growing old. They want to reunite with their families. So this
definitely.
is the time. And they are in fact, we are getting the grants, the Vista Visa grants and exemptions in a couple of hours. That's how the response is from the department, which is commendable. I really, really applaud Australian
Yeah.
government at this point. They're making an effort to reunite Australian citizens, PRs, with their parents.
Yeah, such a good news. And thank you so much,
Very
Prime
good.
Minister and the rest of the government officials, for listening to
Absolutely.
the cries of the not just the migrants, but everyone. It's really important to have a complete sort of like, engagement within the family, especially with the grandparents as well. Like, it was really heartbreaking last year as well, like during the pandemic when it started, when some of the parents from here they went home and they couldn't come back after 6 months or even a year
Or
because of what's
unfortunately, we've
happening.
seen truly, and unfortunately, we've seen cases where um, people have lost one parent and they're left with
Yeah.
another, but still they couldn't see them or meet them, and that was heart wrenching.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my
Past
goodness, I'm being
past
emotional.
14 months. Oh yes,
Yeah.
I have experienced because
Mm.
being an immigration agent,
Yeah,
sometimes I feel like I have to step into their lives, understand what they are going through to help them out.
that's
So
true. That's
I
true.
have lived that period. So it was very heart wrenching, and I'm so glad now is the time when they can reconnect and they can reunite with their
True.
parents.
Yeah, this is the right time, guys. And someone is asking about, yeah, it's open, and we're very happy with this that they can come and be reunited with their family. But
Absolutely.
what about the travel exemptions and restrictions? Are they going to go for a hotel quarantine, or
So if
do
they're
they need to
fully
be fully
vaccinated,
vaccinated?
so
Yeah,
if the parents are fully vaccinated and that vaccine is recognized by Australian government, then they will not have to go through quarantine, like a hotel quarantine. It may
that's
be a
good.
home quarantine depending upon the state.
Yeah.
But for those where the vaccine is not recognized by Australian government, then it's case by case basis, or they will have to go through the quarantine.
Okay, so it depends which state. Did you mention that, right? Okay,
Yes.
great,
Then
great,
there
great.
are, on top of the federal laws, there are state regulations
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And sometimes, some of the rules can be changed as well in a month's time, in 2 months' time. So you'll never know. Always keep in touch with your migration agent. Like us in Way to Oz, the doors are always open for you guys to keep in touch with us. Niti is always, her phone is always busy. I think she's got more than 2 phones. I've got more than 2 phones, like answering one at a time. But, we're always here to open our doors for you and listen, very carefully how we can actually respond to you and give back as well to you guys, and for you to be reunited with your parents. So please stay in touch with us. I would like to say, Niti, before we can start with some of the discussion of the parent visa, because I know there are different
Yes, that's what
types.
we are here
I would
for.
like to say hello to Irene Thomas, watching from SA. Hello, and the family of Irene as well in the UK. Thank you, and in the Philippines. And Loretta Azira as well. Thank you so much for watching. And for those my friends as well in the UK, in Canada, and the USA, thank you once again for dropping by and keeping us company. And for those who are going to be watching this on the recorded, sort of like recorded on my FB page, Motivationalee, and YouTube channel, you're very much welcome to have a replay, to do a replay. Thank you so much, guys, once again. Now, Niti, a question here. There's so many subclasses when it comes to parent visa, and of course we don't need to memorize all these subclass. All we need is to understand about what is a parent visa, what are the different types of parent visa. Maybe we can start with one after the other. Let's say temporary and
Yeah,
then
sure.
permanent.
So
Up
I
to you.
think
Okay,
general
take it
rule.
away.
Let's see who is eligible. So I think that's how we will be able to segregate and understand. So
That's right.
parents who have got more than 50% of their children as Australian citizen or permanent residents, and they are
Mhm,
usually residing in Australia, then they are eligible
mhm,
for parent visa. So parent visa means they get a permanent
mhm,
residency, guys. Don't confuse it with visitor visa. Parent visa means they become permanent residents of Australia. So that's what we are trying to say. So
mhm,
anyone, so if they have got, let's
mhm,
say, 3 children, out of 3 children, they have got 2 as Australian citizens or PR who've been living here for, more than 2 years, then those parents are eligible to apply for permanent residency through various
mhm,
subclasses, which we will go through it in detail.
mhm.
So the rule of the thumb is more than 50%. So that's the way. If you want to find out whether you can make your parents permanent residents of Australia, do the maths. They've got 5 children. If 3 are here, more than 50%, only then. Otherwise, no.
Good. If it's only
That's
two of you and you're here, two of you, then that's good. 50%.
good. One of you here, that's done.
Yeah,
Right?
if you're the only child, that's true.
Right. Now, the other part of it is, what if they do not meet, and this is something called balance of family test, by the way.
Mhm,
What if they do not meet that balance of family test? So in 2019, the department came up with a new subclass for people who were not meeting this balance of family test. So that means they had not more than 50% of their children are in Australia. They do not have a permanent residency option available. However, they have got a temporary residency option, which means they
mhm,
can continuously live with their children for 3 years or 5 years. So rather than, taking the Vista visa, coming, going again and again, they can actually live with their children for continuous period of 5 years or 3 years, whatever they choose,
mhm,
and
mhm.
they can get that type of visa twice in their lifetime.
That's good.
So that's called subclass 870 visa, right? It gives the flexibility, as I said, to stay with their children for a longer term.
Mhm,
Um, Other than that, they still have no working rights. They still have to, must have private health insurance,
yeah.
and their children or the sponsor should meet the income test, which is 83,454. So
Per
if a
annum.
child wants to sponsor their parent who are not meeting balance of family test, then their income for the previous financial year must be over 83,454.
There you go. Copy 83,000. It's like almost 84,000, isn't it? Something
Almost
like that
84,000, correct.
per
Right?
annum.
They ask for the notice of assessment, which is a tax document for Australia to check whether the sponsor meets the income test criteria or not. And that sponsor must be living in Australia for minimum of 4 years.
4 years. Okay, good.
So if you became permanent resident a year ago and you just came here last year, you do not meet balance of families test, you still will not be able to sponsor your parents, even though if you meet the income test, because you've just lived in the country for 1 year.
Okay, great.
So temporary sponsored visa, which is a subclass 870, which we are talking about now, it's a bit tricky and may or may not apply in all the circumstances.
I see.
But that's the only option available for people who do not meet balance of family test.
Okay. So thanks for that, Niti's. Just want to reiterate, Niti's, before we continue, because some people will be replaying this. So they can apply permanent parent visa if they have actually passed the balance of family test, which is 50%. Now, if they don't, there is a temporary parent visa, which is the 870. It could be 3 years or 5 years, right?
Correct.
As long as they've met the per annum income, which is almost 84,000 AUD.
Yep.
Is it okay if they combine it with their husband or I mean not husband, I mean partner? I mean,
yes,
husband or wife. That's good. So combined or solo is fine as long as almost 84,000 in general for the income.
Correct.
That's good. That's good.
Right. Correct. Now, the second part, which is the most exciting part, is the permanent residency of parent visas, and which is possible for parents who meet the balance of family test, right? Now, again, these type of visas can be applied offshore, which means for parents who are all, outside of Australia, or for parents who are already in here. They're visiting their children, and now they want to apply for parents visa. So parents visa can be applied offshore as well as onshore. Onshore means in Australia, offshore means out of Australia, right? So now everything comes with money. So there are 2 subclasses, whether it's offshore or onshore. If you apply 103 or 804, you don't need to remember the subclasses, but what I'm saying is they're not in simple words, they're called non-contributory classes, non-contributory parent visa. So as the word suggests, you're not contributing too much, you're just paying the visa application fee, which is approximately 4,000 something for the primary applicant and around 2,000 for the secondary applicant. So for a couple, it'll be around 6,000 approximately. And then you just sit and wait. Now, unfortunately, the processing time, as per department, is 30 to 50 years, which is long. So you'll be waiting forever.
30 to 50 years. The non-contributory one.
Yeah. So which is not a good option. But
what will happen after 50 years,
I know, exactly.
It's cheaper, isn't it? It's cheaper.
But how it is helping, let me tell you the good side of it. But if this non-contributory visa was applied onshore while meeting the aged criteria, so aged pension criteria of Australia, which is these days it's 66 and a half. So if one of the parent meets the aged pension criteria of Australia, which is 66, if that parent is more than 66 and a half years old, then, and they are here and they apply that visa, that non-contributory onshore, they get a bridging visa until the decision on their file is taken. So that serves the purpose because they're living with their children for that long.
Yes, bridging visa.
Exactly, without the need of going back.
That's right.
Yes, you do not get any benefits of permanent residence because they still have not got, but at
Mm-hmm.
least to live with their parents. And many people
Mm-hmm.
go for that options because it's a cheaper option. And the
Mm-hmm.
whole intention for people there is to just be with their parents. So many people do that. But onshore is better, to be honest, because at least you can keep your parents with you for that long. Offshore,
Sure.
you'll be just waiting,
Yeah.
right?
That's a good sort of like opportunity, the
Yes,
cheapest that they can afford for their parents to stay here permanently, but the processing is up to 30 to 50 years. But at least there's
correct.
a bridging visa and they'll still be
Yeah,
together,
correct.
still a win, still a win.
Correct. And the other type of visa is a contributory visa. Should I say contributory and non-contributory? Now, as the word suggests, contributory, you're contributing to the economy. So it's all about money here.
That's right.
So now that's an expensive one. Approximately, with the cost and everything, it's $50,000 per parent.
Whew, I can buy another house for that.
Yeah,
A down
yeah.
payment.
But but Lee, trust me, so many people go for this option.
Oh, okay.
The advantage here is that the processing time is a lot faster. At one point of time, the processing time was 9 months. Well, then as the popularity of this visa has gone up, the processing time have also increased. So from 9 months, I remember at one point it went to 18 months, then to 3 years. Now it's anywhere between 5 to 6 years. So
Wow.
yes, yeah, as the popularity is growing, there are many, many people who are taking the opportunity to file contributory parent visa because it's faster.
It's faster. Yeah,
And
yeah.
they get the permanent residency. So they get the Medicare, they get all the
Yeah.
benefits of being a permanent resident like any other
They've got
person.
pension as well, right? They've got the pension after 2 years.
Well,
Is it right?
well, for contribute now, there's a catch there.
Oh,
If you're going
okay.
through a contributory, you get a pension after 10 years, not 2 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully they're still, young, young at
yeah,
heart. But at least, they're resident. That's the
correct.
main thing.
That's covered by
And
Medicare. They get all other benefits.
yeah, hospitalization. Oh, amazing. And even medication as well. What
Correct.
more can you ask for, guys? So if you've got the
Correct.
chance to save that 50,000 now, do the contributory parent visa. If
Yeah.
you have
And let me tell
actually
you, many
passed
people
the,
ask, Lee,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
interesting. While we're talking about 50,000,
yeah.
some people just get, oh my God, 50,000 too
Oh, yeah.
much. Or we don't want to spend. And what if the visa get refused? And have we lost that money? It doesn't work like that. So how it works is you just pay the application fee, which is 4,000 for primary applicant, around 2,000 for the secondary applicant. So for your mom and dad, you're just spending 6,000 initially when you're making an application, and then you sit tight, right? Now, when they have passed all the assessments, so let's say in 4 or 5 years time, when the department picks up the application, they
Mhm.
ask the parents to go through the medical test, police
Yeah.
clearance and whatnot. When they have cleared all the tests and the department is convinced that they meet all the eligibility and they can be granted visa, only then they ask for the bigger chunk of money, which is at that time 43,600 per
Mhm.
applicant. So you
That's
never lose your money, guys. Never.
that's
I
good to
mean, many
know.
people are scared. Oh my God, 50,000. What if they refuse it? It's gone. And do I have to pay all of that now? And still have to wait for 5 years till the residency is granted? No. You pay at that time, and they immediately, sometimes it's within 3 hours, they approve the visa after getting the money. So that's
Wow.
how quick
Good.
it is. Yeah. So you never lose your big chunk of money.
Oh, that's really good to know. So
Yeah.
guys,
So
start saving money.
absolutely, absolutely.
50,000. You won't lose it.
I mean,
Or if
I
you
know,
can't afford
Lee, I know people who are like parents in their 50s and they've got their kids at Australian citizen PR. They're still young. So they make that money. They're like, yeah, we can afford it because we know if we get the PR in 4 years or 5 years' time, we'll come and work because we're still young.
right.
I've seen many cases like that, many cases. So not
Yeah,
all
that's
the time they're really old. So we see mixed, parents, young parents, old parents. Um, So, talking about this contributory, another one is if this contributory was applied onshore, remember how I said all these visas can be applied offshore and
On
offshore.
offshore, so both,
So,
either.
if they applied this contributory visa onshore, again, the advantage is they get the bridging visa. Even though the processing time is 4 years, for that
Mhm.
4 years, the parents would get the bridging visa.
They're still legally,
Legally,
residing in this country. They
correct,
won't get deported because they've got the bridging visa, which is good. Which is good.
which
Now,
is
there's a
good.
question here quickly, Niti. I know you've got other things to tackle, but just quickly, someone is asking about once their parents already got the permanent residency, either contributory way or the non-contributory way, because they have passed the family test, right, 50%.
Balance of family
Um,
test.
when can their parents become citizen? And do they take the exam? You know, the citizenship exam. If you could,
For the
right,
citizenship, the rule is same. The rule
okay,
is same, right?
that's good.
Which
It's fair.
yeah. So you should have lived in the country for 4 years. For the last 1 year, you should have been, continuously living 12 months. You are eligible. So
All
it's the
right,
same rule.
that's good. But with
Yeah.
the exam, some parents doesn't want to
I
review
think
all this
now,
book history.
yes, Lee, I think after a certain age, there is an exemption there as well.
Oh wow, that's
Okay.
great.
Yes, I'll have to look into that
Hmm.
because honestly speaking, not many people go through the citizenship. They're just happy because they want to retain the residency of their home country too. So not many
True,
people go through
true.
that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there is some sort of an exemption after certain age.
That's good to know. That's good to know. And if in case they become a citizen of this country, they can have dual citizenship anyways, because the country
Depending
basically allows
upon
it.
where they're coming from and
They're
if
coming
that
from.
country
Okay.
allows.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. I think in the
Yes.
Philippines, they can have like say Australia and Philippines, they can have dual
Yeah, I think
citizenship.
even with UK you can have it. With
UK
India
as
you
well, yeah.
can't. With India you can't.
Oh,
Not
okay.
all countries,
That's
yes.
interesting.
So
All
you lose
right.
the citizenship of another country if you take the citizenship of Australia.
All right. That's why others they're happy to become a resident because the same sort of like benefits anyways, right? So it's
Correct.
good to know.
Correct.
Good to know. Wow, amazing. So thank you for that, Niti. I would like to say hello to all our friends as well who just popped in. Elms Zuniga, thank you so much. Good evening to you, Lee, and the guest. Thank you. And again, Irene, thank you. And Ati Byrne, thank you so much for watching. And to all our Filipino community here in Victoria, in South Australia, in Perth, Sydney, all over Australia, in different states, thank you so much as well for dropping by and for watching this live telecast and also the recorded as well. Niti, is there anything else that you want to add quickly before we can pause for a while? Anything that you want to add about the contributory? And Mercedita, thank you so much for watching.
No, I think I've already said that
You
we've
have
already
to
covered the
say.
pension one, which I wanted to, which you've already asked me
Yeah.
before, that the pension starts for contributory after 10 years of their permanent residency.
Yeah. At least there's the 10 years, right? So that's good.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
I think when
So
we come
stay
back from
healthy.
break, I'm going to talk about what if people don't have that money? Can they still go through that faster way? So let's
That's what I'm
talk
going to
about
be
that
asking you.
after
Yeah,
break.
that's true. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that, Niti. It's such an interesting topic. And you know what, guys? Thank you so much for your patience and thank you for your beautiful attention right now that you are actually listening one bit at a time. And please don't forget, you feel free to share your questions on the comment section here in our TLC and YouTube and Facebook channel as well, Motivationalee. Please make sure that you can type your questions so Niti can also answer your questions. But at this time, Niti, I'll be right back. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. There you go, guys. One of the best to invest in 2021 is Mega World. For more information, please contact these numbers in front of you, or better message me here on YouTube channel and also FB page on Motivationalee, so I can redirect you so to the right person. If you want a stress-free sort of like investment, be a hotel unit owner and a worry-free investment, my what do you call this, Mega World. Of course, Mega World is the best to invest in 2021 onwards. Now, Niti, back to you, Niti. So there's a question here. This is going to be a segue before we can talk about the provisions and the costs and everything as well, if you have further sort of like thoughts about that. There's a question about being starting with a parent who has been in this country for maybe almost 2 years, being having a visitor visa, subclass 600, right? And they have I don't know what's the right term, renewed or reapplied maybe twice already. Yeah, reapplied twice already. And obviously we've already opened most of the some of the borders are open right now, and in the future, maybe in a month's time or 2 months time, international flights will be open as well. And and if there are parents who are expiring their visa as a visitor visa, maybe January, maybe December, or maybe in within the 6 months time, is it better to reapply as a visitor visa, or what's the risk of that? Because there's no more kind of pandemic, like the border is kind of be open in the future. Is it possible to just reapply, or perhaps if there's a chance for them to apply as a parent visa? That was the question. Which is better? What's your advice on this one? Like, straight from the heart. What's
For any visa, you or anyone apply, depending upon the purpose of, you need to know the purpose of that visa. So visitor visa is a short-term visa where people want to visit Australia, right? And there is a genuine temporary entrant criteria. You have to demonstrate to the department you're generally visiting and you'll go back to your country. So technically, if you've already, because I know because of COVID, people had to renew. There were travel restrictions. There were not flights were not available, and they reapplied to just so that to maintain their lawful status in Australia. But now, when things are opening again, third or fourth time, you're not doing the right thing by reapplying for the visitor visa, because that's not the purpose of the visitor visa. Visitor visa purpose is to live here for a short term. So you should, if you want to keep your parents here for a longer term, you should look for other options, not just keep on renewing, because at one point the department was saying you're misusing the visa time, and they might refuse your visa.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? If you've got that refusal,
because they would say
history.
It does not, your intentions are not right. You're not using the visa for the purposes for which it is meant for.
True.
Yeah.
And it's not nice as well to have a history from your parents will have a history of a refusal of visa just for this,
Correct.
and don't gamble on that one. And if there's a chance that you can extend, well, the word might be not extend, but apply for a different visa, just like parent visa could be temporary or permanent visa.
Even subclass, if you want to go for sponsored, subclass 870, which is
870, which is 3 years, 5 years. That's right. And speaking of this, Niti, would you mind if you could, someone is just asking about the eligibility and the costing, especially about the 870, if you don't mind.
Eligibility leave we've already covered. So people who do not
that's right.
pass the balance of family test, people who have to meet the income test, like the sponsor, have to meet the income test, and they should be living in the country for 4 years. So we've already covered that. In terms of the cost, the 3-year visa will cost you approximately 5,100 now. It's been raised. And a 5-year visa will cost them around 10,100.
5,100 and 10,500 for the 5 years, respectively.
10,100 for 5-year visa.
Right.
Again,
Wow. Okay. Oh, well, it's worth it anyways. Is it a like a one-off payment? Let's say if they
No,
opt for the
again,
3 years.
it's a two-stage process. It's not just a
Mhm.
simple visa application. So that the
Okay.
child has to be first approved as a sponsor. So we need to put a sponsor application. That's for $420, I think 425 now.
Mhm.
And then after the sponsorship has been approved, they've got 6 months to apply for the visa application for their parents.
All
And that
right.
time you just apply for $1,000. When they are ready to approve it, everything they've passed, the parents have passed all the tests. That's when they ask for 4,000 something to when they're just approving the visa.
So the
So
remainders.
the remainder,
Yeah. So
correct?
that's good that there is actually a staggered payment, stage one and
Yeah.
stage two. And
Yes.
does the department gives the applicant, the sponsor itself, like the children or in this country, do they give them a leeway, let's say 28, 29, 30 days before they can pay the last remainder? Let's say before
Yes,
they.
they do give. Yes, yes, absolutely. So after the sponsorship, normally the sponsorship is valid for 6 months. So they have to apply for the visa for their parents within the 6 months after
Yeah,
the sponsorship has been approved.
that's good.
And after the first, and then let's say they apply during that time period, they apply for the visa, they pay
Hmm.
1,000. And
Hmm.
when the department asks for the second VAC, or we call it a second visa application charge,
Yeah.
they usually give 28 days to pay that amount.
All right. So that's good. They still
Yeah,
got plenty of time to save
absolutely.
some up. If there's a three
Yeah.
years, the 5,100, or the 5 years, the 10,500, at least a staggered payment as well.
Now, 870, let me tell you, it was only an offshore visa until the COVID hit. So the applicant has to be outside before it can be applied. But during COVID, there are some concessions. And now, if you've got your parents onshore, they can still apply for subclass 870.
So,
So that's a
all
good news
right.
again.
That's a good news. Like because of this pandemic, you can apply for onshore. Did you just
Correct.
mention, Niti? Correct me if I'm wrong, if I've heard it right. For practically for this visa 870, it must be offshore. Did you mention that outside of the country?
Generally, except for
Generally,
some, yes, generally,
yeah.
let's put this way.
But otherwise, because of the pandemic, you can apply onshore. So this is the best time, guys. If you know that your balanced family test does not meet the criteria of 50%, and then there is another visa, which is a temporary visa, 3 years or 5 years, 870.
Correct.
Plenty of time. There are staggered payments as well at two stages. So, and you'll be given another 28 days before they can send you the grant visa. I mean, the visa has been granted for this 870 for your parents. So at least, the government has been very, very generous with this kind of sort of like visa as well. So that's really good news, Niti. Niti, there's another question here.
Mhm.
What will happen? So when is the best time to start applying for either permanent or temporary, right? So what if this is a scenario, okay? And this is from the anonymous person who's watching right now. Thank you so much. Both of you are watching right now. Thank you. Um, if the visa, the visitor visa is going to expire on, let's say, January or December, and either the application would be permanent or temporary, is it possible to apply a month before the expiry of the visa, of that visitor visa, or it should be 2 months before the expiry of the visitor visa so they can
It is
transition into the parents
possible.
visa?
It is possible. But remember, visa application. If you're thinking of 870, that's when it becomes tricky because to apply for visa, the sponsorship must be approved. And so
Mm-hmm.
you should be, and the sponsorship application approval takes 2 months. So if someone is thinking of applying for 870 visa in January because, or before the expiry of, then
Yeah,
they need to start the process at least 3 months or 4 months before because they need to get their sponsorship application approved,
that's right.
and then they can apply for visa application.
There's two
Otherwise,
stages,
your
right?
parents, yes, otherwise your parents will be unlawful in the country, right?
Oh
But if
no.
they're if they are thinking of applying for the permanent stage, let's say, because they meet the criteria of, yeah,
Of the balanced
then
family test.
then they can do it on the last day as well.
Mhm.
Right, so it
Good to know.
depends. So ideally it is good to engage, if you're thinking about that, ideally it is good to engage with a migration agent or get a professional advice at least 3 to 4 months before your visa expiry, just
Three
so
to
that
4 months.
you're ready with the plan.
Okay,
Because
beautiful.
another good thing about the timing here is, Lee, that parent visa application, except for subclass 870, is a paper application. So even though,
Oh,
yes, so we have to send the papers to Perth, or not in most circumstances Perth, but the acknowledgement, by the time we get the acknowledgement, it could take 3 to 4 weeks.
oh no, that's a bit a
So,
while for a while.
correct. So this is where the timing comes into picture, and that's why you should seek professional advice there.
That's right. And of course, Way to Us is open all the time if
Absolutely.
you have any queries at the moment, and we would like to help you as well, guys. So if you know, check out, guys, for those who have parents in this country or still in Australia, check this out. All of their paper documents, especially the visa itself. When is it going to be expiring? Okay, and 3 to 4 months is the best way of applying if you're going to transition into a parent visa, whether it's temporary or permanent visa. That's good. That's
Correct.
good. Thank you so much for that, Niti. Now, Niti, there's a question here, not necessarily about the parent visa, but coming here with the different subclass of the visitor visa. This is just a question. I hope you don't mind me asking this, even though it's not a parent visa. About the exemption, because one of the good news you have mentioned a while ago in during the opening of this show, that is one of the good news, that there's an exemption to the travel restriction, right, for all the parents in different states, right, or depending on the states as well. What could be? Hang on, someone's calling. Hang on. Sorry about that. What could be? How? What's the process of the exemptions? Do they need to apply it separately? Do they need to do it before the application of another visa?
So it's you apply for the visa first, and then you apply for the travel exemption. Now
Mhm.
these days it's mainly it's in most of the situation it's a concurrent process. So we do the visa application, and then immediately after we do a travel exemption.
Exemption for them. That's for the visitor visa. We're not talking about parent visa, guys. Okay, but some just someone just asking that. But thank you so much, Niti. For more information, please contact our Way to Oz, or you can visit www.waytooz.com, and you can see all our services there as well, and our phone numbers too. And I'll flash it later on as we before we end this show later on. Okay, now Niti, about the passport. Someone is asking. All right, they're ready for the parent visa, whether it's temporary or the permanent one, right? What if the visa is expiring in 2 months' time, and then the passport as well is going to expire? Which one can they process first? The passport first, or can they do both? What's your advice? Because they might be in a panic right now
Right. Now,
situation
don't
right
worry
now.
if the passport is expiring. I mean, I would recommend in that case, lodge the new visa on the existing passport. Once you have lodged it, you can apply for a renewal of your passport. And
Mhm.
once you have received the new passport, we just need to tell the department that this is the new passport. That's it. It's simple.
There you go. Stress free,
Nothing,
guys.
nothing,
For those who are
nothing,
asking,
nothing to panic about. Nothing to stress about.
that's
But
good.
don't
So
wait
you've
for
just
that.
heard that.
I would not say that if the visa is expiring in a month's time, don't wait to get it renewed before you can apply, because then you might face a situation where your parents are unlawful and you don't want
Yeah.
them even for an hour.
That's right. And I just want to clarify this is we're talking about onshore, that they're here in Australia. If
Correct.
their passport is actually expiring, maybe in 2 months' time, and then their visa to stay here legally as a visitor perhaps is expiring. So we can do the visa now, whether it's a parent visa, permanent, or temporary, whatever it is
Yep.
and then they can still use that almost expired passport, and then Niti on behalf of you guys can talk to the department that you're on actually renewing the passport and not on its way. So
And
at
then
least
we provide
you've
them a
done.
new passport.
That's
Absolutely
right.
right.
The
And
visa is very
we get
important.
lots of yes, visa is very important.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. And it's good to know that the department in Australia, and all over Australia, is very understanding about this. Unlike, saying like, hey, your visa expiring, your passport is expiring, they don't give you a lot of stress. So that's good
Yeah.
that it's a stress-free environment and a beautiful
Mhm.
country, multi-diversified. That's why we love it here, Niti, right? So that's
Absolutely.
good. Absolutely. Now, I would like to say hello once again to Romeo Montages. Hi, Papa. He's my father-in-law. Thank you so much for watching, Romeo, and of course Leo as well. Thank you so much for dropping by. And Romeo's saying, "Nice speaker you have today. Well done, Niti." See, as I told you guys at the beginning of this talk show, she's very well versed when it comes to not just this visa, but every visa that you need. So Niti is the best person to talk to. Only with waytooz.com. So thank you so much for that, Niti. Now, Niti, before we continue, I think that's one of the things that we need to talk about today. About the eligibility, the cost, and the provisions of the government and all that, and all the goodness you have mentioned a while ago. If you've missed that, guys, you can replay this anytime through my YouTube channel or my Facebook page any time of the day, with the name is Motivationalee. But before that, Nikki, before we end this talk show for episode 5, season 1, let's come back after some words from our sponsors. Hello, once again, everyone who are tuning in. Thank you so much for keeping us company. And hi to Evelyn Perez. Thank you so much for watching. And to all of you guys who are still here, thank you so much. If you have a question, please don't hesitate to type it in the comment section below. Thank you so much. And Niti, what are other things that you want to impart right now when it comes to parent visa,
Yep.
just to educate everyone?
Um, a very important one, which is and the contributory parent visa that we were talking before, because often people get gobsmacked by the amount, or how would they afford that 50,000 per parent. And so there is a provision to split the cost. But let me give you an example to explain.
Mhm.
So,
Yes, please.
and in which scenarios I would suggest that pathway. So I had a client who wanted to get his own parents on a contributory parent visa because he wanted them to be a permanent resident sooner. But at the same time, he wanted his wife's parents as well, because wife wanted her parents to be here. Now, but the financial, because of whatever reason, the financials were supposed to be paid by the children in that particular case. And they're like, oh my God, how do I pay 200,000, 100,000 for this set of parents and 100,000 for my in-laws? That's an expensive
Right.
game.
Big.
200,000. It's a big,
Yeah.
it's a huge amount of money.
Mm.
Now, and he said to me, I can afford 100,000, but I cannot afford 200,000. That's a bit too much for me. So I'm ready to go into this, but 200 is too much. So that's where the split option comes in. So the 50,000, and it's not that only in such scenarios, even with one set of parents, guys, you can do it. So someone who has not got 50,000 or does not want to pay 50,000 in one go, there is an option to split that into 20 and 30 grand. And that's where so you can apply for a temporary residency for 2 years, only 2 years. You pay through the contributory pathway, you only pay 20,000. Once they have approved, once the parents have lived continuously for 2 years and they're ready to be moved on um, to the next stage, which is the permanent resident state, that's when they can pay the rest amount, which is 30 grand. So this way you can split your cost.
That's
so you don't
great.
have to give 50,000 in one go. And even during temporary residency, the parents get the Medicare through this pathway.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
So
even
they're
better.
not losing, guys. They're not losing anything. This way, you're just
Oh, worth it.
splitting your cost. That's it. That's the only difference.
That's good. Thank you so much for that, Niti, for
Yeah.
sharing
So,
that. For sharing that.
so that's a great, a good way to approach as well. So and many people do that to split the cost. They go through temporary residency and then a permanent residency pathway.
So you can do that transition. Well done.
You can do that transition. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was about to ask you because someone's asking, what if the parents has already been granted an 870, which is temporary, a 3 years or a 5 years, and let's say it's on the fifth year already. Let's say they've chosen 5 years. On the fifth year, can they renew or reapply the same 870? And you've just mentioned that
You can renew it up to
you can
two
transition.
times in lifetime.
2 times. Okay.
Yes.
What happens after the 2 times? What is there anything else that they can apply?
Visitor
Visitor
visa,
visa.
back to visitor visa.
That's good. But at least they can just just choose anything. Let's say
Now
if they
remember,
don't.
Lee, I just want to expand on that. So if they want 870 and they're in the fifth year, it has finished, they can remember I tell you generally it's an offshore visa and only this time it's
Offshore,
open.
yeah,
So
that's
the
right.
parents would have to go back to apply for the second set of 870.
Yeah, great.
They won't
Not
be
unless
able
it's pandemic again.
Unless, yes,
It's
exactly.
pandemic, they can do it onshore. Okay. I hope we're
Correct.
clear with that, guys. Okay.
Yes.
870 is offshore. You have to apply that for your parents. But because it's
Correct.
pandemic, whilst they're here, you can also apply that because of pandemic. So
Correct. So
they can
don't
do
know,
that.
and remember, this is a very fairly new visa that just started in 2019. None of the
Oh, yeah.
parents have actually completed 3 years or 5 years as yet. But
Okay.
as per the books, because it's an offshore, they will have to go back and then reapply.
And then apply for the second one. Again, you said in a lifetime they can apply 870 visa twice,
2 times.
and then they can go back to visitor perhaps in the future, which is it's still a win-win. It's good. It's really a very generous opportunity for the family to be reunited. So that's really good, Niti. Thank you so much for that, Niti. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Niti, so that we can wrap this up as well before I wrap this up? Interesting topic, parent visa. Or any special message you want to share and to all the people
I just want
watching right now?
I just feel, our parents have done so much. They've educated us, they have looked after us, they have raised us. I just feel, and that's again my personal opinion here, I feel it's our time to pay them back, be with them, look after them when they really need it, especially at this age.
I believe you 100%. Agree. It's the most special gift you could ever have in your entire life, being with your parents. It's about time for you to be generous to them as well, and
let them
pamper
really
them as
like
well.
your grandchildren and give them
Yes, spend with the grandchildren. Amazing time with them. That's whenever they're with their grandchildren, or even just the children itself, the biological children, even the in-laws as well. It's really a nice experience, a nice sort of like moment being together, even for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is that you've chosen. So don't lose hope. There are a lot of opportunities, permanent visa, or maybe non-temporary visa. You've got a chance. So please don't forget, guys, to reach out to us at www.waytooz.com. And the contact number is just in front of you right now. Or you could reach Way to Oz on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp as well, using those numbers in front of you, is running in front of you right now in the screen. And even in this channel as well, YouTube channel, or on my Facebook channel, Motivationalee, feel free to message me as well. And obviously me and Niti are working together closely as well. And Niti is such, a very intelligent woman I've ever met. And she knows what she's doing. And thank you for that, Niti. You're very inspiring. And as they've mentioned, you are a very good speaker. And it's all worth it always talking to you. We can talk all day, Niti, right?
Absolutely.
No, thank you. And Irene, thank you. Irene said, thank you, Lee and Niti. You're welcome. Again, Loretta, Romeo, Leo, and Elms and Burns, thank you so much for watching. And for all our friends globally, thank you so much once again for dropping by. And I would like to mention right now, Niti, once again, for those who know me, that I've got a YouTube channel. I've got a motivation YouTube channel. Please visit my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I've got also WhatsApp, and also LinkedIn as well. Lee Montage is my LinkedIn, so you can visit me there and message me too. And I've also got a website, Niti. Please visit my website on www.motivationalee.com, and please browse all my services. I'm a life coach. I also do hosting as well, small or big events, and also team building, motivational speaker, personal development or professional development. So please drop by to my www.motivation.com, and you can book your free session as well, not session, but free consultation, I meant. So please keep in touch. I would love to work with you in the future. And I just want to share with you, Niti, before we go right now, that as we have mentioned a while ago, parents are very important in our lives. They've done so much for us, and that's true. It's about time for us to give back in our own little way. Doesn't have to be millions or anything like that. The time
Absolutely.
is very important, isn't it, right? Because we cannot turn back the time. No one on earth can ever love you more than your parents. And spending time with your parents is the best gift you could ever have in a lifetime. So, it's a precious moment for each one of you. So, if this is the right time, guys, contact us at www.waytooz.com. Thank you so much once again for watching. And thank you, Niti, for this precious time. Thank you, everyone, for your for keeping us company, for your patience as well. See you again next week, Friday, same time, 8 p.m. AAST, Melbourne time. Only here on Migration. It is great to migrate with Lee. See you next time. Bye.
Everyone, bye.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.